Hello everyone, welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha, and in today's session we are going to discuss about the Thematic Appreciation Test, or TAT as it is known, one of the 4 psychological tests employed by the SSBs in phase 2 of their testing procedure to evaluate a candidate's patterns of thought, attitudes, observational capacity, and emotional responses to judge his or her officer-like qualities or OLQs. There are some things, therefore, that a defense aspirant must know about TAT before appearing for the SSB interview. But even before that, it is important for him or her to know a little bit more about what TAT is, why it is conducted, how does it work, and how he or she can successfully qualify the test. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about these important points that will ultimately help you to ace the TAT in your SSB interview. But before that, let me tell you that if you want to now prepare for the written tests of your defense competitive exams, you can check out our website ssbcrackexams.com, and you can subscribe to the courses that have been exclusively designed for the different defense competitive examinations. We also have our YouTube channel, our Instagram page, our Twitter page, and you can now log on to learn.ssbcrackexams.com too. We also have our mobile app, and now you can also download the mobile app from the Google Play Store itself. Now, I'll be telling you what roadmap we are going to follow in today's session. We are going to first begin with what is TAT, followed by why is TAT conducted, and then how does TAT scoring system work. Ultimately, I'll give you some points that you need to remember for the TAT story writing and how you can improve on the TAT story writing. Okay, so we will start with, first of all, a little background information of what is TAT. Now, Thematic Appreciation Test, or TAT, is a projective psychological test developed during the 1930s by Henry A. Murray and Christiana D. Morgan at Harvard University. Historically, the test has been among the most widely researched, taught, and used of such techniques. In this test, a series of provocative pictures are used to explore the respondent's dynamics. It consists of a series of pictures of ambiguous social situations in which the examinee describes the social situation as they see it. TAT, you need to remember, in SSB is specifically designed to put candidates under pressure. It helps the psychologist to evaluate a candidate's OLQs, or officer-like qualities, through TAT in him or her. TAT is basically, in SSB, a test of imagination, where 11 slides with different pictures and one last slide containing a blank picture are shown to the candidates on screen. Candidates are given 30 seconds to observe the picture, and then 30 more seconds to think, and 3 to 4 minutes to write in the form of a story. The candidate has to wait for the next picture to appear on the screen, and he or she repeats the same process. The respondents through TAT are then asked to describe the scene in the picture, the apparent emotional content and thoughts of the people involved, what led up to the scene, and what the outcome will be, usually in a form of a story, therefore. Now you'll ask me, then why TAT is conducted in SSB? Now, first of all, you need to remember that TAT was developed on the premise shared by other projective techniques that people reveal something of their own personality. That is, their motivational and emotional condition, as well as their cognitive structure when ascribing thoughts and feelings to ambiguously drawn characters in the pictures. It is used in psychiatric or psychological context to assess personality disorders, thought disorders, in forensic examinations to evaluate crime suspects, or to screen candidates for high-stress occupations like in SSB. TAT is therefore conducted to evoke an involuntary display of one's subconscious. Then how does the TAT's scoring system work? Now, there are some common systems of scoring TAT currently used in research. They are Minor Sentence Completion Scale, or MSCS, Defense Mechanisms Manual, or DMM, social cognition and object relations SCOR, and personal problem solving system, which is a revised scoring system. In short, it is known as PPSS. Now I will describe these scoring systems one by one. Starting with the Minor Sentence Completion Scale, or MSCS, it was developed by Murray himself. The scale is assessed by the respondent asked to tell a story about each of the pictures that depict one or more individuals in a variety of ambiguous situations. It is assumed that the content of the individual stories about these pictures will reveal unconscious desires, inner tendencies, attitudes, and conflicts, and analyzes the hero, that is the leading character in each story, the needs of the hero, such as achievement, order, and aggression, press, that is the pressures operating on the hero, and themes, the interplay among needs, press, and resolution of conflict. The next scoring system, known as the Defense Mechanisms Manual, or DMM, assesses three defense mechanisms: denial, which is the least mature; projection, which is an intermediate; and identification, which is most mature. A person's thoughts or feelings are projected in stories involved. Followed by social cognition and object relations, or SCOR. Now this assesses four different dimensions of object relations: complexity of representations of people, affect tone of relationship paradigms, capacity for emotional investment in relationships and moral standards, and understanding of social casuality. The next scoring system is Personal Problem Solving System, or PPSS. This assesses how people identify, think about, and resolve problems through the scoring of 13 different criteria. This scoring system is useful because theoretically, good problem solving ability is an indicator of an individual's mental health. The PPSSR scoring system allows clinicians and researchers to assess for problem solving ability and social functioning in many types of people without being hindered by social desirability effects. It provides information about four different areas related to problem solving ability: story design, story orientation, story solutions, and story resolution. Attempts to measure the following information are: story design measures the examinee's ability to identify and formulate a problem situation. Story orientation assesses the examinee's level of personal control, emotional distress, confidence, and motivation. Story solutions assesses how impulsive the examinee is. In addition to evaluating the types of problem solutions that are provided, the number of problem solutions that examinees provide for each of the TAT pictures is summed. Next is story resolution, which provides information on the examinee's ability to formulate problem solutions that maximize both short and long-term goals. Well, another very important and popular scoring system for TAT was designed by David McClelland, who divided the TAT responses of a subject into 7 dimensions. They are: A. Stated need for achievement. For example, someone in the story expresses a desire to achieve a goal. B. Instrumental activity. Whether the outcome of the instrumental activity is successful, doubtful, or unsuccessful. C. Anticipatory goal status. Whether the person in the story anticipates achieving the goal or being frustrated by it. D. Obstacles or blocks. Whether the goal in the story is blocked by an obstacle. E. Nurturant press. Whether there are nurturing forces aiding the characters in goal achievement. F. Affective states. That is, emotions present associated with achieving or being frustrated by the goal. And G. Achievement themes. That is, when achievement imagery is the focus of the story. Now, we will move on to the points to remember for TAT story writing. What are the things that every aspirant need to keep in their mind when they are writing a story for these TAT pictures which are shown through slides. Now, first of all, when you see a picture, try to keenly observe as many details you can find in it as possible and noting them down in your head. Next, think first and then write the story. Do not rush into writing. Do not apply your preconceived ideas in a story. Next is, you must build a story and not merely describe the picture. Therefore, the story should have a beginning and a proper ending. Your story should have a good and positive outline. Now, if you get a negative picture, do not try to overlook or avoid that which is so clearly visible. Instead, try to give your story a positive ending. If you don't find any problem in the picture, there is no compulsion to include any in your story. But do not forget to include a positive outcome in it. Next, your story should have a motto in it and should be practical, realistic, and mature. For example, if you see a picture showing a woman running on a racing track, you can write that she is representing her school or college. But if you say she is representing India in Olympics, it can become a little impractical. Also remember, your story should not be less than 90 words. Now, your story must have the following elements in it: a hero or a heroine, other characters, situation in the story, check the resources, figure out a plan, theme or plot of the story, and the solution of the problem. Now I will describe to you one by one how you can approach each of these elements in your story. Starting with a hero or a heroine. Now, always remember that he or she should exhibit OLQs or officer-like qualities. However, he or she should behave like a normal human being and not a superman or superwoman. He or she should have a name, what he or she is currently doing, and from where he or she belongs. He or she should have the same sex and age as you. He or she should have an occupation or a purpose. You can show this by saying X was going to tuition, which shows X is a student, instead of saying that X was walking through the road. Also remember, do not reward your hero or heroine at the end. Next element is other characters. Make sure your hero or heroine is not too dominant and does everything on his or her own. He or she should take the help of other people around in the execution of a task, though leading himself or herself in it. The next element is situation in the story. This will describe what it is, how it came into being or what events led up to it, and what will be the outcome or result. Next, you need to check the resources while you're writing the story for TAT. Some resources are visible in the picture while there are some which are to be assumed as per the area of action. Now, it's very important to make use of correct resources in the story. Next, figure out a plan while writing the story. Don't describe your plan in the story, just implement it straight away. The plan must be according to the people present, resources available, and must go with time. Next element is theme or plot of the story. The hero or heroine, along with other characters, should attempt to solve the problem with the resources available at their disposal. Also remember, the plot should be interesting and end successfully. The last but not the least element in your story should be containing the solution of the problem. You should solve the problem completely and practically. Remember, a problem cannot be solved at once. Several minor problems emerge while you solve the primary problem. So you need to mention about the minor problems as well and how you tackle them to reach the climax. Now, I will tell you how you can write a story for the blank slide. This is important because many of the students face a lot of difficulty while they are writing a story about a slide, about a picture where it is completely blank, where there is no picture. While you're writing a story for the blank slide, always remember it is not compulsory for you to write a theme or a story for the blank slide. But the blank slide story holds a great significance as it will reflect more about your personality and lifestyle. So, do not write something random for it. Instead, portray your own inner qualities or OLQs, perhaps relating your personal experiences, your failures, and how you overcame them and achieved accomplishments in your life. However, it is good to keep some kind of connection between what you write for the blank slide and the rest of the stories you wrote before it. It will also be an added advantage for you if you prepare a story outline beforehand for the blank slide and then imagine one on the spot, establishing a relation with the other stories you will write before it. Now, there are many students who ask me what are the different ways that you can improve or how you can improve your story writing skills for the TAT. For that, you need a lot of practice, and I will give you some of the important ways or tips that you can follow to improve your TAT story writing. Now, beginning with, always remember practice is needed, and so you should write at least 2 TAT stories daily by looking at pictures in books or just observing things around you while you sit in a park or a cafe. Think for half a minute and then try to write a story within 5 minutes. Moving on, after writing, read your story again and again to check if your story contains all the required elements and then look for improvements if any. Practice is important as I told you before, so practice a lot on daily basis at least a month or 2 before your SSB. Learn to write fast, and this is very important because you'll only get 3 to 4 minutes for writing a story in the actual SSB. Do some meditation and yoga daily to calm your mind down and increase mental strength and thinking capacity. Also remember, during the SSB, concentrate on one story at a time. Do not think about how you did in the last story or how will you do in the next one. Also, whenever you feel stressed or nervous, breathe deeply. Take a deep breath, hold for a second, and then let out a big sigh. Repeat as many times as you like. So I hope going through all these important points to remember and the steps to improve story writing for TAT in SSB, you have got all you need to know about TAT that will help you to prepare in a better and a more efficient way for TAT. So you need to work hard and practice a lot for the TAT story writing. And you also need to keep your eyes and your mind open while you see the pictures or you observe a picture at any time. On the other hand, if you want to prepare for your SSB interview in a much more constructive way, then you can consult these 2 books which are available, and the link for the books are available in the description box below. So you can check these 2 books out, and it will be very, very helpful for those who are preparing for the SSB interview to consult these 2 important and detailed books. So don't forget to relax and de-stress yourself while you practice for the TAT story writing for your SSB interview. Till then, take care. Jai Hind.